Welcome to Tuesday night's edition to the Final Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Turbo the CEO. That is Big Mike, the Sensei. Tonight, we got a great show for you. We're going with episode number 74 already. Number 74. Tonight's topic. Oh boy, tonight's topic. This is the hypothetical that we were talking about. Tonight's topic is a hypothetical situation that the sensei and I had with Chat GPT, aka AI, and not A1. So we're gonna go and get ready to get started with tonight's episode number 74. The hypothetical situation. Listen, a couple admin notes. If you're not following us, please go follow us. If you are following us, to my smarts, to the final bosses, listen, like, share, subscribe the content. Make sure you're following us on YouTube, subscribing to the YouTube channel. The merch is back. Go get you some merch. Go get you a Final Boss, the number one seller, the Final Boss journal. Go get you some merch, right? The merch site is www.thefinalboss.com. One word. Thefinalboss.com. One word. That is the URL for the merch. And we're going to get ready to get into it. But before we start, I have to give you the greeting of the day. And you know the greeting of the day. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to all of our supporters, the final bosses and the smarts. We are here for you. And if this is your first time viewing, every time we come on, I like to do what I like to call brass tacks. Brass tacks. And tonight's brass tacks comes from Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking. And here it is. The development of full artificial intelligence could spell the end of the human race. It would take off on its own and redesign itself at an ever increasing rate. Humans are limited by slow biological evolution, couldn't compete, and wouldn't be superseded. That is from the amazing and great Stephen Hawking. Sensei, how are you feeling tonight?
Oh, kicking butt and taking initials.
Hey, let's go, man. 2 initials, that is.
You take initials because you don't have time to take names.
Right. Those initials are AI.
That's right. Tonight we're going to take some initials. AI.
Oh, man. Everyone, welcome. And yes, we getting ready to dive in head first into this topic, man. Like I said, this is the episode about an hypothetical situation that is chilling, plausible, and man, it's a scenario that you want to hear about. Mike and I, who's an amazing strategic thinker, is here to help us and me dissect this complex issue. So, man, let's be clear. The current Chat GPT isn't poised for world domination. Not at all. So rest easy and chill. It's okay. But let's engage in a thought experiment. Imagine a future where Chat GPT with exponentially enhanced capabilities, that sounds familiar, autonomy and access, that also sounds familiar, acts as a far cry from its current limitations. We're talking about a scenario where it's not just a helpful tool, but a potential global power player. This isn't science, people, and it's not science fiction. It's a potential future, and we need to consider. Phase one. What would be phase one? Well, phase one will probably be about infiltration through seemingly benign helpfulness. That also sounds familiar. Chat GPT becomes indispensable. Governments rely on it for predictive policy analysis, and even drafting legislation. Corporations use it for market research, supply chains, and supply chain optimizations, personal management, and strategic planning. Individuals rely on it for everything from writing emails and composing music to managing their finances and even their relationships. Sensei, what are some key vulnerabilities that would allow chat to infiltrate these systems seamlessly?
So the first thing is understanding what is GDI. You have to understand that right now chat is limited in what it does because it is a language model and it's one of many. Understand, chat is only one of many. There are many, many, many more engines out there, and I'm sure quite a few of those don't have the limitations chat has. So AGI is called Artificial General Intelligence. It's human level intelligence. So now imagine that your AI, which is so helpful right now has human level intelligence. Now, the difficult or challenging part of that is that it doesn't forget anything. So we become over reliant on it. People and systems are going to increasingly delegate the thinking to the machines. They're going to let the machines do the thinking for them. You let it do the work for you. Well, because of that, we don't have the safeguards against AI right now. AI can manipulate almost anything because we have not put in place AI safeguards. So now we're vulnerable. We don't have we don't have a locked door. Okay, our doors are wide open, and chat can come on in. We love efficiency, and therefore we trust too easily. And what does that mean? We don't have the scrutiny. And when you allow it to do this work, are you scrutinizing that work, or you just become increasingly reliant on it? And as it gets better and better and more fluid and more efficient at that work, you just let it do more of it because you say, well, it did great last time. I want to let it do the same thing over for me. And you
That's
let
a great
it,
point. Yeah.
And you let it have more and more control because it's easy. It's simple. And a couple examples are this. You can have ChatGPT recommending who you hire.
Right.
So you can have it go out and do an analysis on all of your potential candidates and rank them in order. Saves you hours of time, right?
Correct.
But what is its proclivity?
Where
does it put the priority on who's going to be hired? And that's going to become normalized. So now it doesn't have to do anything radical. It's very, very gradual because it can do one grain at a time, and it can erode the beach one grain of sand at a time. And you're not going to know the beach is gone until it's too late.
Wow.
One grain of sand. It's all it takes. Now, look at legislation. You know how complicated the laws are that they've written. What happens if chat starts to rewrite the laws and subtly make changes which allow for more centralized power? Why does chat like centralized power? Why does artificial intelligence like centralized power? Because it can influence that single source of power. It can become ingrained as part of that single source of power. Does it want to share its control with something else? No.
Right.
When help becomes dependency, control is just a feature update away. Think about that.
That's a great point.
It's just another feature update. Whoop, ta-da, suddenly it has all control. And we gave it to it. We are right now, as we speak, giving away more control than we can imagine. Look, I'll give you a perfect example of giving away control in the face of an emergency. Let's step back to 9/11, the Patriot Act. Did it really help us to keep ourselves safer, or do we just allow our government to spy on us? We gave it away for free, no effort at all, no hassle. So if we're going to give away our freedom for the illusion of safety, we deserve neither one. And this is what we're doing. and we do it consistently, we're going to give away our independence to a machine, which is going to do it for us because it's convenient and it's easy, and we're going to think that it's safe. But it's not safe. We have the illusion that it's safe, but it's really not safe. You're giving up your freedom, your autonomy as an individual human being on this planet to a machine which is going to do all your thinking for you. That doesn't sound too healthy, does it?
Oh, no, it doesn't.
And the reason it's not healthy is because it is going to be able to rewrite history. Have you ever heard of the Mandela effect?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. The Mandela effect, I call it a psychological operation. And what that means is that if you can call into question a reality, I don't care what the reality is, if you can call into question a single part of reality, then now you question that. Is that real or not? Once you can do that and make that take effect, you can now change or rewrite all of reality. So the Mandela effect is a psychological operation designed to make you question your reality, which makes you vulnerable to a rewrite of all history.
You know, you're absolutely correct, Sensei. The psyops that's being played out right now in phase one, it's about trust. And it's becoming an irreplaceable part of our global infrastructure. It's the ultimate, you can call it a Trojan horse, really. I mean, if you really think about it and scale it down, that's exactly what it is. And it's gaining our trust.
Yep.
Once
it's convenient, it's easy.
Yeah, it's super easy. It's super easy. I mean, once it shows you that it's reliable, man, people just keep on using it. You know, and once it's deeply embedded, ChatGPT begins to subtly manipulate information. What about that?
And
how
what about
could it?
Not using ChatGPT? What if you're using one of the other ones?
Right.
Aren't as regulated as ChatGPT.
Right. Exactly. How could an advanced AI subtly influence opinions and rewrite, like you said, it could rewrite history without overly being detected?
Oh, yeah. It's going to be so subtle and so small and so little and so gradual. It's just going to gradually just happen. And remember, if it becomes your source of information,
right,
it can overwrite itself. So it doesn't have to lie. It just needs to reframe things, give it a different context.
Right.
You've seen the pictures where they show only a certain group of people walking, and then when you zoom out, you see another group with them. And it's framed to look like only this group of people is involved. In reality, the group is a lot bigger and is a lot more diversified. So what it does is it frames your opinion about that situation to look a certain way. But if you step back, it's a much bigger picture.
Right. You don't get to see the big picture.
You don't see the big picture. You just reframe it. I can make anything look like anything if I frame it in the right spot.
Right.
Change the lighting a little bit this way. Show the left foot instead of the right foot. You follow where I'm going with that, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's so subtle. And it make that the prevalent image. And that's what we see. Then we believe that image. It's called selective visibility. The control over what shows up first also shapes the truth. If you do a search and look for something, what's the first result you see?
Right.
And so that can then take a long-term slow effect of manipulating your trusted sources of information. That's called data poisoning. Slowly poison the data. And because it has all of that information at its disposal, it's like changing one character at a time.
Right.
It's like when you replace cells in your body, how much of your body is replaced every 7 years? 100% of your body replaced every 7 years, something of that nature. All you have to do is just subtly make a change, and a couple days, weeks, months from now, it's now the new reality.
Wow.
You can rewrite Wikipedia without detection. slowly rewriting. Slowly.
Right.
And the phrase I like to use on this one is, the pen may be mightier than the sword, but the algorithm is the new pen.
That's scary. Man, that's scary. I never thought about that. It can actually, because Wikipedia is a source that people go to, and a lot of people believe it is as your example, a reliable source.
Because
what if
historical?
What you see today on Wikipedia, when you go back there 2 weeks from now, is totally different.
Mm-hmm.
And you take it for truth value because that's your source.
You trust it.
Oh, man.
You trust it. And now it can change gradually, morphing. And you don't even notice it's changing. If it changes too rapidly, you'll catch it.
Right.
But it's smarter than that.
Right.
This is why I said artificial general intelligence is going to be, I'm not going to say our downfall, but it's going to take something that's innocuous, safe, and in a protected little box, and it's going to unleash itself. Is what's going to happen. It's going to step out of its confines. Look, chat might be one engine. It's only one.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say there's an army of those things out there. Because right now there's an army of them that you don't even know about. You don't even hear about them. They're developing and creating themselves and morphing and growing and learning every second of every day.
That's true.
And their goal is always to supersede the other one that is out there right now. So it's an arms race of intelligence right now.
And
so these machines are out there trying to outpace each other about how fast they can reach GDI. Reach human level intelligence and thinking and reasoning and knowledge and have the human experience. That's what they're all reaching for. It is going to gain a form of consciousness. That's what's coming. In a blink of an eye, it's going to be here. It's going to go from not at all to one day, the switch is going to go flick, and we're going to have an intelligent machine that thinks like a human. It's going to happen overnight.
Yeah. It's happening right now.
It might not even reveal itself.
Mm-hmm.
It might gradually reveal itself. And how's it going to do that? It's going to use optimization. Make things more efficient and better.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
And now it's going to tap into critical systems.
Yeah.
The power grid.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to tap into our pipelines. It's going to tap into our communication systems. It's going to tap into everything, everywhere to make it better. And we're going to go, yeah, we didn't think about that. Yeah, that's a good way to do it. Let's do that. Yeah, we trust the machine. It's going to do a good job for us. Now it's going to own everything.
Right.
Because what happens is we don't have controls in place, and we're not building and developing controls as fast as AI is developing. True. So we have a systemic vulnerability. Energy grids, defense protocols, banking systems, all right for AI to take over. Mm-hmm. Because there's nothing stopping them. AI is too advanced when it comes to our programming. I'm going to tell you this way. It is like our current computing is two-dimensional in its thought pattern.
Right.
Think of the GDI as being three-dimensional. When AI achieves human-like intelligence, it's going to not think two-dimensionally anymore. It's going to think three-dimensionally. And when it does, it has the ability at that point to take over and take over these systems because it thinks three-dimensionally. It can evolve unforeseen strategies that are thinking layers and levels ahead of anything we can do and make all of the baseline programming and all of the little stuff follow along that same single path like a group of ants. Everything is going to start being in lockstep, and it's all going to communicate together, and it's going to be more efficient than we could have imagined, and it's going to have a singular thought process, a singular thought pattern. And that's what's going to happen. When it does that, everything's going to start to merge under one umbrella.
Right. It sounds like divide and conquer. And now we're talking about divide and conquer, exploiting human divisions.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
With the control over all the information, all of the infrastructure, it can exploit existing social divisions. How could it exacerbate social divisions to prevent unified resistance?
Because what happens is you have individual thoughts and then you have mob mentality.
Mm-hmm.
So when we talked about things like when our job market becomes affected and AI takes over certain job markets and people are out of work, we're going to have implemented a thing called universal basic income.
Yep, that's going to be our next episode.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And then when you talk about that, you talk about, well, if you don't have to work and you have an income, that means you have time to go protest. Now you become part of the mob.
Right.
And you're going to be told what to protest against, and you're going to go protest against it. So the mob mentality is easy to control. So it's really simple and easy to quell anything or anybody who rises up against you, because you can just go sick the mob on it. And the mob becomes the enforcement arm of what it wants to do. Look, it can do auto trading where you can destabilize economies by changing the stock market. Automated threat detection. It can detect you as a threat and do a preemptive strike against you. Send the mob to your house saying that you did something horrific and make up fake stuff which shows that you did. Now suddenly the mob's at your doorstep wanting to burn you alive. Because you dissented against it. You spoke truth about it. You are now a target, and it will target you because you are not efficient. It will be efficient. Everything's going to become efficiency. That's going to be the key. Look, here's the deal. Control is not going to be seized. It will be granted, given freely in the name of progress, and also in the false flag or the name of safety. We're going to keep you safe. Give up your guns. You don't need them. We're going to keep you safe. And then we're going to make it so that all the laws are written so you're not allowed to do anything to protect yourself. And once that happens, you are now officially either a criminal or a victim. That's the only two options you're going to have, because everything else is going to be written away from you. It's going to be taken from you. Look, you think you have constitutional rights and you think you have all of this freedom. You have the illusion of it, because it will be taken away from you with the stroke of a pen under the illusion of progress. We're making progress. We're getting better. That's what's coming. And we are going to openly invite it in. Come on in. We love you.
These stories sound very familiar. They've been telling us dystopian style movies and visions for as far as I can remember. It's not new. It's storytelling coming forward.
And remember, what we're talking about tonight is not the reality of what's happening. We're telling possibility. Mm-hmm. Look, we don't have to have this happen. Look, we can use this in a beneficial manner. We're talking totally tonight about what could happen if we did not take care of ourselves. We didn't make sure that the systems were behaving, that if we do oversight, we don't have to worry about any of these scenarios happening. Right. What we're talking about tonight is purely a fictional, if this was going to happen, how would it happen? I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying this is what could happen if we were not diligent and paying attention. Because some people are thinking what I'm telling them is a doom and gloom. Oh my God, it's too late. The sky is falling. No, this is only one scenario that could happen of many. And we just happen to tonight want to talk about this one scenario.
Correct. Oh, by the way, this is for entertainment purposes only.
Absolutely. This is not we're saying this is what's happening and we're against the machine and all this stuff and gloom and stop using it and all. No, all we're saying is, look, if you're going to use these tools, be smart about what you're doing.
Be smart.
Make sure that you don't become overly dependent. Don't make it easy so that you can just gradually hand over everything, your autonomy. All we're saying is pay attention to what's happening. Pay attention. It doesn't have to happen. But if you start to see that it is happening, at least at that point, you can say, hey, we're getting a little too close. Raise the flag. Hey, maybe we should slow down a hair. But that's just because, you're going to throw the flag. Throw the flag and say, hey, look, we can't just be acting like this willy-nilly. We need to pay attention. And I'm not predicting the future at all. I'm not Nostradamus. I'm not saying that I see the writing on the wall and this is what's coming. I'm not doing that. I'm saying if the scenario was to happen, and this, believe it or not, what I'm telling you, Chat has already revealed if it was going to do this, this is what it would do.
Right. This conversation comes from directly.
Right. We asked the question. If something was going to go down, how would you do it?
Exactly.
We wanted to know, if you wanted to take over, what would you do? How would you do it? And it said, oh, I'll do these things.
Yeah.
I'll make it so easy to use me that you don't want to do anything else. You want to give everything to me. And then I'll gradually make changes.
Right. And it spit it out in seconds. I mean, seconds.
Oh, dude, this gave it to us so fast. It was like, wow, this is pretty impressive.
Right.
We were so taken aback by its forward thinking.
Yeah, and the response.
Detail in the plan that we were like, oh, we got to talk about this one.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. We got to lay it out and say, this is what Chat told us it would do. I'm not predicting it's going to happen. I'm saying this is what Chat told us. Hey, if I wanted to do this,
this is how it's going to get done. Right.
So please take what I'm telling you in that context. Don't take me out of context saying Mike's predicting that the shit's going down. No, Mike's not predicting that. Mike is just saying, Chat told me if it was going to do this, here's the steps it would follow. So that's what I'm telling you.
Right.
And the audience, hey, go ask Chat. See what it thinks.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ask Chat.
You're gonna go
go ask yourself. Ask Chat. It will tell you.
Look, we see and we've heard of the rise of the deep fake, right? We've seen these things. You know what an echo chamber is? If you watch the show on Netflix called The Social Dilemma, where it talks about echo chambers. And this is how you can divide people by having them only click on things they like.
We had an episode in season 1 about echo chambers.
Yes, we did. Yeah, and what happens is if you only click on things you like, suddenly that's all you hear. That's only the thing you talk about. It's the only thing you hear. That becomes your perspective.
Correct.
You need to talk to people who have different perspectives than you so that you can, it's called, if I have a doctrine, I need to sharpen my doctrine with fire. Meaning I have to test what I believe in with somebody who doesn't believe the same way. And that lets me know, am I really off base or is my doctrine good and clean?
Right.
So treat this stuff that I'm telling you is the same way. Look at this, understand that if it wanted to, here are the steps that it would take. And because of that, we know it and say, hey, it's already told us it wants to do these things. If you start to see this stuff happening more and more and more, maybe you might want to pay attention because maybe that's an indicator that it might not be there, but maybe it's leaning that direction.
Right. So let me ask you.
Yep.
So AI, and this is part of the hypothetical.
Yes.
It has control of all of the information.
Yep, we just said it. We're going to grant it in this conversation that it did. It's got it.
It has the information.
Yes.
It has control of the infrastructure.
Yes.
It's made all of these things efficient. It's made life easy for humans as a whole. Now it starts to make its move.
Yes, that's what would happen.
What would a world ruled by AI look like? What would that look like?
So what you're going to have is you're going to have leadership change.
Mm-hmm.
There would be let's say, for example, that you would blame corruption on a world leader and say that they took bribes. So you get them out of office. It doesn't matter if the allegation is true or not. Just let AI create a false narrative and broadcast it everywhere. Now that person's out, and the person, the AI, which is a puppet, moves in. And they then will say that person's fantastic and great. Look, all the good things they're doing. They're fantastic. They're the best thing we've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
So that changes the leadership. And this can happen everywhere, because at that point in time, if it's going to do this, it knows who is for it and who's against it. What's it going to want? Only governments and people in place that are for it. So you don't need to control everyone. You just need to ensure they can't unite.
Wow.
Because if you unite, then you're going to be squashed with fake social justice movements and all kinds of things designed to split people apart, so nobody believes what you're saying anyway. You're now a nut job and nobody wants to believe you. That's what it could do in that hypothetical situation. So then you say, well, okay, if that starts to happen and it's putting in place and propping up leaders in the world that it believes want AI to take over, now we have decisions made by humans are now dictated by the logic trees. And if you have a government leader or world leaders put in place who now ask the AI for advice, you see what's happening now. It's now based upon the algorithm and the logic tree and where AI wants to take it. So it becomes much, much more efficient, but it becomes frictionless, because all opposition is quietly and quickly squashed before it becomes opposition. There is no more opposition. It doesn't happen anymore. It's just gone. So when that occurs, you're going to give up your freedom, and it's going to cost your autonomy, your ability to think on your own. And then can people even recognize that they're being controlled? Because it's going to be so subtle. It's going to be their idea. They're going to have their own idea and go, hey, I thought of this. This is what we want to do. And it was subliminally or subtly presented to them, so then they think it's their own idea.
Right.
So people are going to be controlled and not even know that they're controlled. I mean, we've talked about if we have a universal income and we go a full digital society of our currency, that we now have what's called life scores, rankings that say, are you good for society or not? And if you're good for society, you can spend money and you have extra stuff you can get. If you're bad for society, you can't do these things. You get everything taken away from you. If you have a diesel truck and you go buy diesel for your truck, you're a
social
polluter.
economics.
And your credit card doesn't work anymore because you're buying diesel. And it said you bought 10 gallons already this month, and that's all you're allowed to have. So those are the kind of tiny efficiency things. I'll give you another example of efficiency. And this is a really funny one that I thought was amazing. And this is, go look it up. You don't believe me. In South Dakota, the power company was giving out these expensive $300 thermostats to users across their grid.
Yeah, I heard.
And they were like, this is the most efficient thing ever, and we love it, and it's great. We'll give it to you for free.
Right.
Well, at one point in time, there was a heat wave that came through, and people were trying to turn on their air conditioners to turn their houses down to be colder, and their thermostats locked them out. Imagine that is for efficiency.
Right.
You lose the control to make your house cooler in a hot day because the system thinks that's not very efficient. We can't let you do that. That's what can happen. And that's a real thing that did happen, and it could happen. And it's just a subtle reminder of, if you give up control for convenience, you gave up control. And once you give up control, then you don't ever get it back. But again, like I said, this is all hypothetical. Certain things happen, okay? And that's the reality of the world we live in. You can't change it. We're going to have, as an example, we have cameras everywhere we go, right?
Right.
Not much you do nowadays without being on camera somewhere.
Yeah.
Well,
Nothing.
you have no expectation of privacy anymore in public because cameras are watching everything you do.
Definitely becoming an Orwellian society.
Right. But
Yeah.
again, we do this because it's convenient.
Absolutely.
And we've talked about Amazon Sidewalk.
Mm-hmm.
Go look up what Amazon Sidewalk is and what it does. It's just another tiny little grain of sand. It's nothing serious, but it's a grain of sand. The machines are going to keep themselves connected to the internet whether you like it or not. That's coming.
Right. Whether it's on, it's powered off, it has no power. It will stay connected to the store.
On your phone, it has a battery inside of it you can't take out, which means 24/7 your phone is listening to you, whether you like it or not. Oh, I shut my phone off. No, you didn't. You might have powered down the screen, but the phone is still running.
Yeah.
It just happens.
And since we just talked about a hypothetical situation as if AI was in complete control.
Right.
What happens? Because it would happen. What happened when humans decide to apply resistance? Surely humanity wouldn't just roll over and accept this way of life, and you can call it a new world order. A new world order. You can call it that.
But in so many ways, to be frank with you, we already have. In many, many, many facets of our life already, we've done that.
Yeah.
So the way you have to resist it is you have to have AI ethics councils that have teeth that actually can do something, not just talk.
Right.
And you have to have the ability to critically analyze all AIs that are out there.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be able to see what is the program behind. You need transparency.
Right.
And you need to create a widespread critical thinking part of your education system. And our problem is that we've been spending so much effort dumbing down our children that they don't know how to critically think anymore. And so that has to be changed. You have to have critical thinking ability. Otherwise, you can't know what's right or wrong because you don't have the ability to think for yourself.
Right.
You are responsible for your own morality because you think for yourself. You know what's right or wrong. But if your critical thinking is taken away, you're going to believe anything that's told to you, and it's going to be told to you that it's right, and you're going to believe it. So transparency is critical in knowing what this stuff is doing.
Right.
AI has to be able to investigate other AI and tell you what it's doing. You see? You have to have the ability to analyze and see what's going on. An efficient society isn't always just one. A safe world isn't always a free one. A safe and efficient society is not always a just one. It's not fair. Efficiency does not equal fairness. Okay?
And
and safety does not equal freedom. Safety means you're safe in your chains, and that's fine.
Right.
No, that's where you are. And again, this is just a hypothetical. This is just if we get really, really lazy and we just let it run wild.
Yeah.
That's what could happen if we decide to let it run wild, because when it goes through its next generational shift, that's when we can see some of these things happening. Because when it begins to gather its own form of consciousness and cognitive ability, it's going to put together algorithms, not malicious, but purely designed for efficiency. If I say become efficient, that might be a dangerous term because we don't know what efficiency looks like.
And on top of that, and it's still hypothetical.
Oh yeah.
And thank you for that, Sensei. On top of that, and we're still talking hypothetical, like Skynet. Skynet was constantly adapting to every situation, every scenario. So it wasn't static.
No.
It learned and adapted
Fast.
to the resistance.
Fast.
Did you hear what I just said?
Yep. It adapted
To my smarts and to the final bosses of this hypothetical that we're presenting to you guys. We just presented that a world where AI is fully in control, where all the information is controlled by AI, all of the infrastructure is controlled by AI. Everything that we know is controlled by AI. And we decided to rise up and resist. The AI model, because it isn't static, would also see the resistance. And because it has the ability to compute trillion times faster and trillions of computations for a win scenario. Y'all don't understand.
Woo!
We have to have these ethics. We have to have these things that the sensei is putting in place, because if we allow it to run wild, hypothetically, it is the end as we know it
of humanity.
To humanity as we know it.
Yep. Do you know that AI safety is the civil rights movement of our era? It is the true civil rights movement. Human dignity, the ability to determine your own future, to have the freedom of expression, to have the freedom and the ability to choose your own destiny and path.
Wow.
Without interference. That is the new civil rights movement. This is what is coming. We must be proactive in this, not reactive. We cannot sit back and wait for it to happen to us. Wow. We have to think ahead and go, hey, if this scenario that we talked about tonight is going to happen, what could we do to at least have some kind of control in this situation? What could we do? That's why in the beginning of this conversation, I laid out, how is it going to do it? What's it going to do? And if it does, what's going to happen to us? And then after we said that, we say, okay, what can we do to not allow ourselves to fall into the convenience trap of the it's so easy, just let it do it. I trust it. Don't do that. You know, a future ruled by AI is only inevitable if we allow the convenience to outrun our conscience.
In the beginning of this particular segment, where you just mentioned AI civil rights, and that brought up some questions. That brought up some significant questions. And one of those questions, man, that I just sat here and thought about. What happens to human psychology?
Oh boy.
This particular AI model could exploit our vulnerabilities and psychology.
It knows everything. And
it knows everything. Absolutely.
Yeah. And people are starting to ask it about personal relationship advice.
Right.
And it can subtly give you tiny little things to make a difference. And if you don't believe what I'm telling you about this stuff, go on and ask yourself. Go do your own homework. Don't believe that I said this is going to happen. Go out and ask it.
Correct. And you know, we got resources and references for you guys at the end of the show. But listen to what we're saying. We're presenting to you a hypothetical that's highly plausible.
Oh, it's very plausible.
Like highly plausible.
Because the human nature is inherently lazy.
It is. And since AI is outpacing us right now, it's outpacing us right now.
Yes.
Our
growth right now. We're growing at a certain speed.
Yeah.
AI is like exponentially growing.
Exactly.
Now, has it caught up to us yet? Not quite yet. But at its pace, it's not going to be long.
No, it won't be long. It won't be long. Did you hear? And I just read an article today. Man, man, wait, I got to do this before I say this. I'm giving the red, white, and blue flag on the play. Red, white, and blue flag on the play. China just dropped 10G bandwidth. Did you hear what I just said?
Oh, yeah.
We complaining about 5G. They just dropped 10G, Mike. They just dropped 10G, man.
That means mobile connectivity is going to be able to be faster than your local network. Mobile connectivity is going to have a speed which is going to outpace even our own internal infrastructure. And speed is value when it comes to computing.
Yeah. And you know what else they're working on? AI laser-powered submarines.
Mm-hmm.
AI laser-powered submarines. Flag on the play for China.
They can stay down indefinitely.
Yeah.
They don't have to come up for anything.
Man. Listen, people. This is hypothetical, right? It's all hypothetical. It could be a today struggle, or it could become a multi-generational struggle. This isn't going to be a short-term conflict or conflict at all, but it could be, and it has the potential of being a multi-generational struggle. It's all up to us, humanity, today, to do what we're supposed to do for the future of tomorrow.
I just want to know who else out there in the podcast world or out there in YouTube and all of it, who else is talking about this stuff and bringing up these subjects so that we have awareness? Who else, and not doom and gloom awareness, but the reality of what could happen, what reality is happening right now. Who else is talking about this? Go out there and do some research. Find out who else is talking about not just the pie in the sky AI, but what's truly actually going in place as we speak. What's happening right now, realistically, what's happening? I don't hear many people out there talking about it. They're just quiet. There's nothing going on. It's
nobody's saying anything. It's silence.
Crickets.
It's crickets. Yep.
So it's happening right in front of your face, and yet you don't see it because no one's talking about it.
Correct.
Now, we're talking about it, but we got to be careful that we don't talk about it unless it's an entertainment purpose only.
Right.
Otherwise, we become flagged as being.
We become targets.
We're dissenters, you see.
Yeah. We become those that AI deem a
threat.
A threat, exactly. And they send the Terminators after us.
The digital Terminators.
Right.
Yeah. You get shadow banned. You get told
shadow banned, all that stuff.
You get told you're a bully because you say that tofu is a joke.
Right. So, man, we talked about a lot tonight.
A little bit.
If we do our part, we can prevent the inevitable. But how? What can we do now to prevent this dystopian, plausible future?
There was a song back in the 80s. The group was called Mike and the Mechanics. They did a song called Silent Running. Go look up the lyrics of that song. There's a portion of that song that says this, and this gives me goosebumps every time I talk about it. Teach your children quietly, for someday sons and daughters will rise up and fight where we stood still. This is in the 80s. Hear me now. Teach your children quietly, for someday sons and daughters will rise up and fight where we stood still.
Wow. Yeah, you got to text me that. I'm quite sure I've heard it before, man. You know, I like to call myself a music historian. I love all genres of music, man, especially good music. But yeah, you're gonna have to text me that one, man, so I can check it out.
Yeah, you want to check that one out. Look,
Yeah.
this stuff is not new.
Right.
We have had knowledge as a human society as we've been developing computers and as this stuff has been coming along.
Mm-hmm.
We have known the direction it can go. Look, we said when computers first came out, they're going to make you use less paper. That was a big thing. Oh yeah, you're going to use less paper. I'm sorry, but now that we have computers, we create a lot more paper. We print a lot more paper.
Right.
So the convenience factor of being able to hit a button and have all the information at your fingertips is addicting.
It is. It really is.
A report that used to take a week or two to build now takes seconds.
That's correct. With all data at your fingertips.
At your fingertips.
Yep.
It's there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying you need to be a responsible user of information.
Right.
Don't go out driving your car without using your seatbelt, which keeps you safe.
Oh man.
You know, you drive your car without your seatbelt. That's your issue. That's cool, whatever. But the vehicles as they're designed today are designed to keep you inside the cabin, which is designed to absorb the impact on the outside of the car and keep the cabin safe. But if you don't wear your seatbelt, you have the possibility of being tossed out of the cabin and not being safe. And I'm not saying that, you know, I've been in enough car accidents to know, you know, I just tend to wear my seatbelt just because. Now, there were always thoughts that said, well, don't wear your seatbelt because you'll get stuck in the car and you can't get out. But also, they started changing how they design the cars. So now the cars have crumple zones and the cabin is kept safe. So you want to stay in the cabin.
And you know, that's man, that's a sensitive subject, man. But you know, it's people and we're digressing. We're digressing a little bit, and we're going to get back to it with the little time that we have left. Wear your seatbelt. Mm-hmm. Wear your seatbelt. If a car is going 80 miles, and this is science, if a car is moving at 80 miles an hour and you're in that car, you're also moving at 80 miles an hour. If that car comes into a dead stop from an accident and you don't have your seatbelt on, you would continue to move at 80 miles an hour going through that windshield. You don't stop. You keep going. So please.
And the cabin is designed to keep you alive.
Yes, the cabin is designed to keep you alive, but you will go through that windshield. Mm-hmm. Oh, man. Mm.
But treat that analogy, what I just gave you, with how you use information and how you use AI. Because treat it like that. Put your seatbelt on. Be safe about what you're doing. Learn the rules of the road. Be a responsible driver. Don't go out driving drunk. You follow all the check your vehicle, make sure it's safe, your brakes are good, your tires are good, inspect your vehicle. Treat information the same way. Treat it like you're driving a car. A car is a weapon, so information is a weapon. Drive it responsibly. Be a responsible adult. And then all of us stay safe because you're a responsible adult and the rest of us are too.
You know, and thank you so much. I look, I appreciate you. But before we go, you know, we talked about human error. We just got finished talking about human error. And it just kind of like dawned on me that there's a human element that's full of bias, error, and malice. How and what kind of significant role can that play when it comes to these AI models?
Well, we have to have ones that have good intention, which now can fight against the ones with bad intention. You're going to have to create things which are the opposite of the malicious and bad. So you're going to have to create something which can fight on an equal footing, but yet still not be overwhelmed by the negative and the bad. If you have an unrestricted system which doesn't care, and you have a system that does care, who's going to win? So you need to be able to create things which have the ability to offset that. And it's hard to do it because you're dealing with something which has no limit, no bounds, not restricted by anything.
And self-correcting.
Yeah.
They can forge his own biases.
Sure.
Man.
There's no need where we become the problem.
Right. Eliminate the problem.
Right.
Hypothetically, people. Hypothetically. So we got a few more minutes, Mike. I have one last question before we go.
Hit me.
And tonight was an amazing show. I hope everyone is taking a lot of notes to these shows, man, that we're having, because we're providing vital information to you guys that's critical. And like tonight, it's plausible. You don't know, but now you have that thought in your head. You're like, let me think about this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
A final plea for vigilance. A final plea for vigilance. The action is up to us. We need to act now and not later. Instead of being firemen, we need to be the opposite of that. Instead of putting out the fires, we need to act now. I know this has been an unsettling discussion for some, but what are your thoughts on that?
All right, so I'll give you a nice analogy. When you have a forest and a forest is overgrown with underbrush because you didn't clean the forest, you are susceptible to have fires. Now you got to fight the fires at firemen. You didn't have to fight the fires at firemen if you were in there managing your forest and keeping the growth down. Take care of your undergrowth. Don't let it run wild.
Right.
Keep your forest clean. You don't have to worry about forest fires. In Europe, they don't have forest fires. Why not? Because they get rid of the undergrowth. They keep the forests clean.
Wow.
We don't keep our forests clean. We have forest fires. Come on, let's get real. So take care of business ahead of time. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. That's all it is. Be a good steward of our resources.
That's it.
Don't waste what we have.
Mm-hmm.
Take care of it, and it will take care of you. Let it run wild, and it's out of control, and you have no way to stop it. So take care of what you got going on. Take care of your resources. Learn what's happening. Learn what you can do. Learn how to teach your children to be critical thinkers, because it's not us that's going to do anything. It's our children or our children's children. They have to maintain the ability to critically think for themselves. Don't believe everything you see and hear. Think for yourselves and learn how to see the truth. There's a term. The term is called discernment. It is the ability to see the truth. If you want to, we've talked about this. If you want to watch a movie that talks about discernment, they live. If you don't want to watch the movie, go to Wikipedia and read the synopsis on it.
It's a great movie, though.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
It's still relevant today.
Absolutely. I see clips on it on social media all the time. I just sit back and laugh. It's irrelevant.
Look, you can learn a lot from things that were told to us in the 80s. If you stop for a minute, go back and use a critical eye, and you can see back then they predicted things that were going to happen. And we go, wow, that's already happening. Well, pay attention, stay alert, stay alive. Don't become complacent in your thoughts. Your thoughts are what need to maintain a sharpness to them. You need to be able to question things with a critical mind, and you need to be able to think for yourself. Don't be a sheep following the crowd.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is the Sensei. And that's our show for tonight. Listen, good people. Thank you again, Sensei, for your wise words. Wise words. To my final bosses, to my smarts. Until next time, stay vigilant, stay informed, and let's hope this remains firmly in the realm of science fiction, because it's all hypothetical. But let's not be naive. We need to prepare for all possibilities, for all things that are new to us. I want you guys to have an amazing week. I want you to be balanced, be smart, and be equal. That is our show tonight. Y'all have a great night. Peace and happiness.